Hey everyone, Brian Von VA, and I'm going to put all of us on a list somewhere. What was the worst way you killed someone or something in a fight? Don't worry, for YouTube purposes, this is for D&D, Dungeons & Dragons, don't worry. You can tell us about your worst ways down in the comments below. Also, we do have a sponsor today, so stay tuned for that little roundabout. Not a fight, but it was still a most gruesome kill. First time playing COS, Curse of Strahd. Let there be a spoiler warning here, as per usual. I created a character that hated the idea of children being mistreated. Ooh, I like this character already. At some point, we get to the mill with the hag in it. We later found out about her 2 daughters, but they were out foraging. After a bit of back and forth, my player finds out they use children's bones for flowers. And he blows a fuse, telling the barbarian not to kill her. Fast forward to a fight that almost had us TPK'd, and we had the hag down. We chopped off her hands with a red-hot axe head so that she wouldn't cast any more spells, and then I tied her feet with a 100-foot rope, fed the other end into the millstone, and then I told the hag to basically beg for her life. After a bit of groveling on her end, I asked her what she said to the children that begged for mercy. She didn't have a good answer. So I said, "Let's see if you make good cake," and threw the mill into gear, watching as she slowly got fed into the millstones. I fireballed the whole place after we were done. We're starting this off good. Today's sponsor is Steinhardt's Guide to the Eldritch Hunt. Steinhardt's Guide to the Eldritch Hunt fuses Soulsborne inspiration with Lovecraftian horror, creating a monstrous 5th edition setting book to unleash on your table. The foes you'll face vary between twisted and disgusting abominations, fallen friends that will rise again, and even some environmentally afflicted horrors. Speaking of, this features 8 unique environment-altering moons that will let you watch the world burn as streets of Larenha blaze around you, or witness a void moon's malice corrupt even the most innocent of creatures. To fight this, you will empower yourself with blasphemous magic, stealing the powers of the Eldritch, embodying new race options from Eldritch Angels to living dolls, while struggling to contain the hundreds of new effects that promises to shatter your sanity. From awesome and twisted new weapons like the meat hook shot to osteomancy, transformations, and unknown powers never before experienced or seen. Can you put an end to that which plagues Larenha? Join the hunt today. I don't generally go for brutal or gruesome kills, but in one play-by-post campaign I'm in, where it's just me and the DM, a group of orcs tried to trick my character. I was playing a storm sorceress, a 4'8", 17-year-old human tribal girl named Zulra, who had just left her little village and wasn't used to the big bad world yet. My party, basically me and 3 NPCs, were trying to identify and sell a bunch of potions we'd found. The orcs told us that there was a merchant coming in 2 days who could identify them and buy them, but that only Zulra would be allowed to stay behind to make the sale, and that she had to pay the orcs something like 30%. She agreed, and was promptly chained to a wall for her efforts. The orc chieftain said, "Once you make the sale, you can leave," then forced the rest of the party to leave without her. She told them to go and not to worry about her. They didn't know she had plenty of ways to get herself out of there, but they also knew Zulra had always been rather resourceful, so they went with it. Now, during the 2 days Zulra was chained up, she made friends with one of the orcs, who was actually a half-orc, and who didn't like what the chieftain had been doing. She found out from him that the chieftain planned to kill her as soon as she'd made the sale and keep all the money for himself. She had a plan for that fucker. The merchant showed up 2 days later, just as the chieftain said. As soon as the merchant arrived, Zulra began setting up the sale. The merchant decided to drink one of the potions to see what it did because, well, he didn't recognize it. Though he could tell it wasn't harmful. It ended up being a potion that let him see about a minute ahead into the future. He drank it, then turned to the half-orc Zulra had befriended and had him drink it too to, verify its contents. They both drank it, saw the immediate future, and walked out of the room immediately. On cue, the rest of her party arrived and began attacking the orcs. The chieftain turned towards the sound coming outside his tent. As soon as he looked away from her, Zulrah misty-stepped behind him and waited. When he turned back to Zulrah and noticed she was gone, he started shouting for his men to find her. While he was distracted, she used her Temptress magic class feature to lift herself up behind him to be able to reach his head. And after a successful grapple check to grab him by the back of his head, she pulled his head back hard and slammed her hand directly over his right eye, casting Witch Bolt into it at 3rd level. I rolled for it and, easy hit. The DM rolled the attack in auto crit, gave me max damage on the roll, and narrated how the orc chieftain's head exploded from the direct lightning injection to the eye socket. He, didn't like the orc either. Between Zulrah and the 3 NPCs in her party, we wiped out that entire orc tribe, save for the half-orc Zulrah befriended, who happened to be the son of the chieftain Zulrah killed. As it turned out, they were the tribe who had destroyed the village of one of the NPC party members. The half-orc we spared, who had rebelled against his tribe by helping Zulrah, joined the party, and now he's making his own way in life. Zulrah, you are one badass lady. As a player, I drowned a drunk cultist to keep him from giving our location away. The thing was, only the DM and I knew I was doing it. So as the other players were doing things, occasionally the DM would look at me and say, "Bubble, bubble." Why bubble, bubble? And I would reply with an evil grin that gave the other players concern. A little longer then. It's so disgusting and cold. This was my first game ever. Oh god, your first game and you have a gruesome kill? I'm excited. Playing a Marvel game where my character had lightning powers and, well, a temper. We were ambushed in a building filled with explosives. This can't end well. I attacked Radioactive Man and knocked him out. Inside the building. My teammates had already escaped, so I joined them outside, and they were fighting the Beetle and another villain. One of my teammates, playing Invincible in a Marvel setting, don't ask why, got Beetle by smashing him into the ground. Insta-kill. To be honest, it was either this or he would have ended up fried by me. The last villain decided to make a run for it and took a car. I blasted the car, making it crash into a wall and burn. Don't remember if the bombs exploded or not, but it was fun. I retired this character because he was too much of a murder hobo, and I'm playing a new game with the same DM as a thoughtful scientist instead of an angry brawler. Also, if this gets in a video, I hope you guys know that I love them and watch them every day. Well, you know what? I don't know who actually wrote this story. I just want to say from me to you, the narrator from Ohio, Brian, hi, hello. Thank you for your submission, and I really hope that you're having fun playing as many TTRPGs as you can. This one is from one of the kids I DM. Keep in mind, this dude is like 11 years old. Alright, I'll keep it in mind. They went into a farmhouse of the family of thugs in town with the goal of taking their stolen loot back. They start by blocking up the chimney to smoke them out, but when that starts taking too long, they use some hay inside the attached stables to burn the house down. They then set up an ambush by the front porch. They rushed out, including the grandmother, right into the ambush. This kid then repeatedly uses Gus to push the old lady back into the burning building until a beam collapsed on her. Pardon me, let me just speak for everyone who just heard this, giggled like a little fairy, and then just say, don't let this kid become Dexter, please. My character kicked a guy in the balls. That's not my purse, I don't know you. Kneed him in the nose, ooh, good one. Then drove his rapier into the windpipe of the dude. Very classy. It was very satisfying to watch my DM try to not break down laughing as he had to describe the last seconds of this bandit's life. You know what? I saw it play out in my head. I loved every second of it. My fighter shoved a bottle's worth of high-proof alcohol and a lit torch down an orc's throat. I had been disarmed, but there was a bottle of what was basically vodka nearby, and I had a torch, because it was underground and also kind of dark on the way in. You could literally see the flames glowing from inside his throat. Very clever. So, this story is my favorite to tell. My divine soul sorcerer and our party's cleric had been sent to deal with a dragon at the edge of Waterdeep. But it turns out that the dragon was super friendly and had the mentality of an immature child. Aw. It wanted to show us its hoard. Well, one thing led to another, and my sorcerer ended up super fucking pissed. Turns out there was a group of fish folk who were picking on the dragon. So what did he do? He said his favorite catchphrase, "It's time for some magical bullshit!" I took 5 beads of fireball and had them float underwater just above the ocean floor with shape water, each spaced 19 feet apart. Then I created a sand cloud with mold earth and the sea floor sand. The fish folk failed a save to see my trap and got turned to chum, while over half of Waterdeep saw a mushroom cloud of water. I ended up adopting the dragon and accidentally started a cult. Not me, but my wife and her current bard. After fighting off an orc invasion of her character's hometown, or at least what was left of it, both her and her character were livid over the atrocities the orcs had committed and the aftermath that followed. After they got what information they needed from one of the survivors they were interrogating, she decided to make him suffer. Since pillaging was their goal, she took out a gold coin and offered to give it to the hog-tied orc. She then shoved the coin down the back of his throat and cast heat metal. You can probably guess what happened from there. Your wife is sadistic, and that is awesome. Spoilers to Lost Mines of Phandelver. Warning, spoilers. My hobgoblin evoker comes from civilized goblinoid society and was pissed at how Clarg treated goblins. In his society, goblins were lower class but had basic rights. He used Tasha's caustic brew to cover him and his warg with acid and watched them desperately fighting for life against the party while throwing fire bolts at them. Warg was luckily enough to be finished by Barbarian's axe, but Clarg was taken by my wizard's acid. After the fight, he threw Clarg's head before goblins and offered them a possibility to go to a better place in exchange for Saldar. I was playing an Artificer artillerist for the first time, and my party had stumbled upon a group of kobolds. They were standing over a dead body, so we assumed they were hostile. We had the stealth advantage, so we snuck and I had my flamethrower cannon out. Simultaneously, my turret moved up to one kobold and our paladin bum rushed the other. I roll max damage for the flamethrower and the pally critted. In an instant, 2 of 3 kobolds were either set to extra crispy or no longer had a head attached to their body. Turns out they weren't hostile and they just stumbled upon the corpse and they started yelling at us in common and called us murderers. My character never lived that down. Hey there everybody, Brian Von VA checking in after the vid. Make sure to leave a like, to subscribe, to ring that bell. Ring the bell. That way you get notified whenever the town's attacked or when we post a new video. Also, make sure to leave a comment with your favorite story that you'd like to have us read out loud, or possibly go on our subreddit r/MrRipper. We actually do check both platforms, so don't hesitate. Spam away. We love you for it. Also, be sure to check out our sponsor for this episode, Steinhardt's Guide to the Eldritch Hunt. It actually is a little bit of a Soulsborne with Lovecraftian horror, and you know me, Daddy Vaughn loves his horror, and something like this truly gets right up my alley. This is my heart in a nutshell. And if you want to come check out me, you can do so, brianvonva.com. You can check me out on Twitch, Twitter, anywhere. I stream a lot, so I'd like to see all of you come on over and say hi. That said, I'm going to end this on a positive note, as usual, and I just want to say one thing. I am proud to have made all the friends that I have through, well, MrRipper. I have some of the best people that I could have ever met through MrRipper's work. And I literally get messages daily telling me that you have graduated, that you have had a successful surgery, that you guys and gals are getting married, having kids, and that everything that's just happening, I'm able to influence y'all in a happy way to smile or to cry or some fun stuff. And I'm proud of you. I'm grateful that I've had this influence. I'm grateful that I was able to watch all of you grow and get stronger and get older. So to all of you out there, I am deeply proud of all of you. I really am. Don't ever stop the progress. Go forward no matter what. Love you all. Be safe, be happy, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.